Hello, friends. I hope you're out wandering through nature, exploring the natural world around you. Do you enjoy writing about your wanderings? Nature journaling is an awesome, fun way to remember all the adventures you have taken and how you felt during those journeys. If you're looking for some beautiful journals to keep track of all your wanderings, I have several available on Amazon, including some guided journals for children. Start your journey in journaling by clicking on the link in the show notes. Keep exploring the nature around you and keep journaling all your wanderings. Hello, friends, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Paul, and today I am at Chestnut Ridge Park in Erie County, New York. I'm actually at a section that's known as Eternal Flame Falls. I'm not headed to the falls right now, though. I'm taking one of the side trails, and I'm just out here enjoying the day. It's dripping a little bit, and I've got some sprinkles. They're calling for some rain today, but I just had to get out. It's a beautiful day other than the rain, and it's been a long week, so I just wanted to get out in nature, get out in the woods. And I love coming during the week. I've told you this before. I love being out hiking during the week because, well, during the week, you can actually get out on the trails without a lot of people on the trails. It's actually very peaceful out here today. I ran into a couple people up by the parking lot, but now that I'm on the side trail, most people are headed down to the Flame. And if you're not familiar with it, there's what's called the Eternal Flame. It's a natural gas pocket that has worked its way through the cracks in the earth, and it comes out underneath this waterfalls. If you go up there, you can actually go up, if it's not lit already, and you reach into this little crevice under the waterfall with a lighter, and you can actually light this flame coming out. So it's called the Eternal Flame. But I'm off on a side trail where it's nice and peaceful, nice and quiet other than the airplane going over. But I can hear all the birds, and there's chipmunks all around me. Very beautiful woods here. This is one of the less populated, used areas of the park. It's a rather large county park, and the reason I'm here is I actually want us to talk a little bit about safety while hiking. It's that time of year where we're getting out and doing more hiking, especially if you live in the Northeast like I do, and you've been kind of stuck in your house all winter, although I get out in all types of weather. Like I said, we've got some sprinkles here right now, and I'm out. I'm enjoying this. Out here in the woods and enjoying it because it's been a long winter. I wanted to get out, and everyone else is the same way. It's like we're finally getting a little bit of warm weather. So let's get out here in the woods and actually enjoy it. And unfortunately, it also means more people are getting injured in the woods. A lot more people are getting lost in the woods. A lot more people are not prepared. So I want to talk a little bit about springtime preparedness, springtime hiking safety, we'll put it that way. So first of all, I'm doing something that is on my list of what not to do. I am hiking alone, but I'll talk to you a little bit about how to be safe even if you are hiking alone. There's different things you can do, and since I'm talking about, I'll just talk right about it now. When you're out hiking, always leave an itinerary. I don't care if it's winter hiking, summer hiking, always let someone know where you're going. I already told my wife, it's like, yeah, after work, I'm headed out to Chestnut Ridge Park. I'm going to be parked at Eternal Flame. I'm headed down this trail. I'm going to be back at this time. Now, if I'm not back at that time, my wife knows I'm always running late when I'm out hiking. I get so involved and so caught up in nature, and so she usually gives me an extra half hour before she starts worrying. So she's got the itinerary. She knows where I'm going to be. She knows what I'm doing. She knows when I'm supposed to be back. And if I'm not back in like an hour, she's going to be concerned and she's calling the police. She's going to get someone out here looking for me. So that's what the number one thing, in my opinion, is to let someone know, have an itinerary. There's a new app out, at least it's new to me, I just found out about it, called Cairn, C-A-I-R-N. If you're not familiar with that term, it basically means a pile of rocks to mark a trail. So if you see along a trail a pile of rocks, it's basically marking an area of trail where there are no blazes. So it's a hard area to mark it. Maybe it's going over a rock terrain and there's no trees there, so you can't mark the trail with blazes on the tree. So what they do in this case is they pile up these rocks. It's a cairn. Sometimes you'll be out in the woods and you'll see this big pile of rocks because it used to be a farmer's field. And the farmer, every time they plowed the field, they churned up all these big rocks and they wanted to get them out of there. So what they did is they piled them up into a pile somewhere, and it's known as a cairn. Well, anyhow, this app, which is known as Cairn, I can actually start it when I go on my hike, and then my wife has the same app. She knows where I am, because I told her I'm headed out there. I can communicate with her. I can text her. She can see exactly where my location is. She knows whether I'm safe or not. So that is very important. Itinerary. Know what you're doing. It's all part of prepping for the hike, which is very important. First of all, know the area, know where you're going. If it's someplace new, make sure you have a map, make sure you've done your research, make sure you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, where you're headed. All of this will help prevent accidents, prevent you from getting lost. So know where you're going. Even if it's somewhere you've been before, check trail conditions. Find out from some of the hiking websites, from the government websites, for the area. Like I'm in a county park right now, and I don't think they usually have trail conditions on there, but some of the county, state, federal parks, national parks, they will actually have, hey, this is the trail conditions right now. This is what's going on there. This is, what you need to prepare for. In my area, there's some hiking clubs. You can check their Facebook pages, their websites, and you can actually find out what the trail conditions are, because people are posting. It's like, oh, I was just there. It was really muddy. Oh, I was there. There's a tree down over the trail at this point. There's, so you get to know the trail conditions. That way, you're prepared for whatever is coming along that trail. Another part of being prepared or prepping for your hike, it is a new area, even if it doesn't have some sort of map, if you are using digital maps on your phone, you may run out of signal. So make sure you download it onto your phone. So I always have some sort of map. It's either paper map or it's digital. I prefer digital maps. I like my digital maps, and I always download them onto my phone. That way I always have them. I don't have to worry too much about getting lost. Once in a while I'll lose signal, but with the downloaded map, I almost always have GPS signal. So I can always tell, or I should say, my phone can always tell where I am. And it knows where I am on the map. So I'm actually watching an Avenza map right now, which is keeping me on the trail. I did take a wrong turn because I was busy looking at my notes and talking, and I went back to the map, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not the right trail. I knew I should have turned back there. So I turned around, and I got on the right trail. So have those maps, have them prepared. Know the conditions. Look at a weather forecast. know the weather radar. Maybe you have an app on your phone with the weather radar. I know I do. And that will help you to find out what you need to be prepared for. If you're going to get a blizzard coming in the winter, if you're going to get severe thunderstorms coming through, you might want to just cancel your hike and postpone it. Do it another day. But if you have, like today, I knew there were some showers, but I checked the radar. I knew that we were going to get a little bit of showers, spotty showers here and there, but it wasn't going to be raining downpours all day. So that's why I decided that, okay, it's all right to come. But I knew how to dress for it too. Instead of my hiking sneakers, I put on my hiking boots. Keeps my feet a little drier, also gives me better traction. I also brought my pole, my hiking pole, so that, if I'm on a slippery slope, I can, use the pole to help me keep my balance, to get me up the hill. And of course, I have a rain jacket. So that way I can make sure that I am on the right path. So definitely know your weather. I'm actually in a section here where I'm taking it real slow. And once again, the trail is a little bit wet. I'm on the top of a ravine. One of my favorite spots here in the park, in this section of the park. There's a ravine that I'm going down in, and there's a trail that goes along it on each side. And I'm coming up to a small bridge and a culvert, and it's going to go over the stream that is coming down, and there's a beautiful waterfalls, tiny little waterfalls, trickling waterfalls right in front of me. Absolutely beautiful spot here. And I'm going to actually stop here and just enjoy it while I continue telling you about hiking safety. So another thing is to dress in, not just for the weather, but it is kind of for the weather too. Dress in layers. What I mean by that is you want lighter layers underneath, you want another layer on top of that, another layer on top of that. If it does cool down, like it's probably about 5 degrees, 10 degrees cooler down where I am than when I was up on the top of the ravine here. So more like 5 degrees. So it did get cooler, but I've also been hiking with a rain jacket on, so I'm pretty hot right now. The rain jacket just doesn't let my skin breathe, so I'm getting a little bit warm, but I can just take that off when I want to, and I have another layer underneath. And if I get too hot, I can take that layer off. You don't want to end up sweating, because when you sweat and it cools down, then you're in trouble. Yeah, you start getting cold. So dress in layers so that whatever happens, you're good. And like if it started raining and I didn't have a raincoat because I wasn't prepared, which I always do because I do prepare for my hikes. But if I didn't have a raincoat and I got wet, I can just take that wet shirt off and I have a dry one underneath. Okay, so this is why you should always dress in layers. It really helps you out. Another part of preparation is knowing what footwear to bring. Like I said, I have hiking shoes and they're actually hiking sneakers, and I also have my hiking boots. Now I have weak ankles. When I was a kid, I sprained both my ankles so many times I can't even count. And because of that, I have very weak ankles, so I always like a mid to high top hiking boot. My sneakers, they don't support my ankles well enough. So if I'm going on some pretty rough terrain, I will make sure I'm wearing hiking boots, not hiking sneakers. So know what you're getting into, know what the trail conditions are. If I'm doing a rails to trails, I'm in sneakers. Yeah, it's just more comfortable. It's much more easy to hike in those on a nice level surface. But if you're going up and down hills, if the trail's muddy, make sure you're wearing the right type of shoes. So all of this is part of the preparation, having the appropriate items with you dressing appropriately, knowing your trail, calling up a friend to have them go with you. Always make sure that you have everything planned ahead of time. Where are you going? What trails are you going to take? What's an alternative trail if that one just isn't right? Maybe it's too muddy. Look at the map, figure it out. Do that ahead of time, not afterthought. Another thing I want to talk about is the backpack. That's part of preparation. You need to carry your gear in something. Do you go with a large backpack, a small backpack? Right now, this is a short day hike that I'm on. I'm only planning on being out here maybe an hour and a half. And so I have my small day pack with me. It slings over one shoulder. It's not very heavy. It doesn't have a lot of equipment in it. It works out great for these short day hikes like this. But if I'm going on a longer hike, maybe I plan on being out all day, I'm going to have a larger backpack with me. I'm going to have a backpack that has more room to carry more items because I'm going to be out longer, which means I need to carry more water with me. I need to carry more food. So make sure your backpack is semi-waterproof, lightweight. I got rid of one of my larger backpacks a few years back because it didn't let my back breathe. And I found that my back was sweating all the time when I had it on. So I got one that has some mesh in the back. It works much better at breathing, letting my skin breathe. So I don't get as sweaty with it on my back. If you do a lot of hiking and you do have actually I call it a medium backpack because it's not for overnights. I have a larger backpack for that, but I don't use it much because I don't do a lot of overnight hiking. But this medium-sized one, you can pack so much in there, but you never know if maybe the weathermen were wrong. Weathermen, I always joke around, especially here in Western New York, it's tough to predict weather. I understand because of the Great Lakes. I always kind of joke around that it's one of the few jobs where you can get paid to be wrong at least half the time. But anyhow, it's tough to predict weather. So if they say, hey, it's going to be nice out today, slight chance of rain, and then of course you get downpours. You don't know. So be prepared. And one way is with your backpack, make sure you have something to cover it, waterproofing it. So for instance, you can just grab a garbage bag, which fits right over the top of it. They do make rain covers for backpacks, and those are great because if it does start raining, they'll keep all your gear dry. I know, backpacks are waterproof. No, they're semi-waterproof. So they're water resistant. They will not keep everything dry all the time. You get caught in a downpour, I'll guarantee if you don't have some sort of cover, your equipment's going to get wet. So try to have something that will prevent that from happening, that'll keep your gear, your backpack nice and dry. So backpack cover. If you don't want to spend the money on one, like I said, just grab a garbage bag. Another good tip, if you are going out where it's going to be muddy or wet, maybe there's a lot of streams you may have to walk through, maybe there is a chance of rain, you may want to put plastic baggies over your feet, then put your socks on, and then your boots. So it'll keep your feet dry in case your boots are not 100% waterproof. So what do I have in my backpack? Well, I have the essentials. Even with my day pack, I have pretty much most of the essentials, maybe not all of them. If you go on the internet, you're going to see the 10 essentials for putting in your backpack when you're hiking. And you'll notice if you look at another website, they're a little bit different, but there's a general rule of 10 essentials that you want to take with you when you go hiking. And they may, lists, like I said, may vary a little bit, but they're essentially on the same line. And what they are is, first of all, you want some sort of navigation. Whether it's your phone with maps, paper map, compass is good. How many of you know how to use a compass? I know there's a lot of people who don't even know how to use it. I'm going to, at some point, make a video on compass use because I feel it is important to know how. Even though most of us have apps and stuff on our phones, it's still good to know how to use a compass and to carry with you. So navigation is number one. And these are in no order as to importance. Rain's coming down a little bit heavier, but I'm in some deep woods, so you may be hearing it. Be quiet for a second here. So you may be hearing the rain, but I'm actually just feeling a drop or two because it's a nice area where there's a lot of leaf cover. Luckily it's late enough in the spring that the leaves are out. Okay, so navigation, illumination. I always have a small headlamp on me. I keep it charged. It's the type you just plug in. It has a built-in battery. And before I go hiking, I make sure it's fully charged up. And it's just a small headlamp. Something happens, maybe on that ravine, I hit a slippery spot, I fell down in, no one comes by, I'm stuck down there, I have a broken leg. It's, you never know what's going to happen. So it's good to have a light in case it starts getting dark, you're there overnight. I'm not going to get into safety on that, first aid, but you want to have a light. It's great for signaling at dark. It's great for seeing your way out. I've been hiking at night, geocaching, and I got off the trail because I was looking for a geocache, and we ended up finding it, but it was late. It was getting dark, and on our way out, it was tough to see the blazes on the tree. I didn't have a flashlight, and I wish I did at that time. So now I always have this little flashlight with me. So illumination of some sort. First aid supplies. I always have a small first aid kit in my backpack, just the essentials. It doesn't have to be anything, fantastic. You don't need a lot of equipment in there. Just the basics, especially for if you get a bad cut. You want to make sure you have some sort of bandaging in there. Maybe you want an aspirin in there. Whatever you think you need in there, but make it small. You don't want too much. You don't want too much weight in your backpack. So first aid supplies. If you want a whistle, I always have my whistle hanging off of my backpack right in the front. And make sure it's a nice loud whistle. Most whistles are. Make sure it works, though. I have had whistles that I bought, and it's like, this thing hardly works. But the signals, if you're hiking with someone and you get separated, whistle once. Just blow once. And their response should be 2 whistles. And then you blow once again. They'll respond with 2. That way you can find each other because you can hear each other. If you are in danger, there's an emergency, you need help, 3 whistles. 3 whistles is a sign of danger. You need help. You need to be rescued. So 1 is signal, 2 is response, 3 is for danger, help. Bring some sort of fire. Matches, make sure they're waterproof, strike anywhere matches, that's what I recommend. That way you can make fire if you need to. If you get stranded in the woods, you can keep warm. Hypothermia is not fun. I always like to have, you can make up a repair kit to repair your equipment. I've had my hiking poles break, and it's like not fun to hike with a hiking pole dragging it behind. I like my hiking pole for balance, takes a lot of the weight off of my legs. So always have something to repair your equipment. Maybe you broke a strap on your backpack. Now, I don't carry a lot of screwdrivers, hammers, all that. No, you don't need that. I don't know if you've ever seen the multi-tools where it packs up like a big pocket knife. But if you open it up, it's got pliers on it. Some of them will have a toothpick, they'll have a screwdriver on it, they'll have a lot of different stuff. They come in all different varieties. I don't have a really big one, and the reason is because if I had a big one, it's more weight. I mean, these are usually stainless steel. So I will have a smaller multi-tool that will have the screwdriver, it has the wrench on it, and it has a knife on it. Those are the main things that I want on it. It has a few other extras, but those are the main items that I want on my tool kit. So some sort of repair kit. Can be a simple thing like a multi-tool. Another thing is water. Make sure you bring water. Remember, plan ahead. How long are you going to be out? What's the temperature going to be? Do you think you might dehydrate quickly because of your hiking up and down hills? It's going to be 80 degrees. Bring extra water. So the rule of thumb is if you're out for a day, bring at least 2 large water bottles with you. Now remember, this is all weight. You don't want to carry too much, but you also don't want to dehydrate. I always have little electrolyte packets in my backpack too, just in case there's an emergency. If you have where you notice someone is getting dehydrated, the person you're hiking with, or you're getting dehydrated, you're starting to feel lightheaded, your water just isn't doing it, well, you just take one of these electrolyte packets and you mix it in with the water. And that actually helps you to stay hydrated. So carry some water with you. Some sort of nutrition too. I usually have some sort of power bar with me. I pack several of them. And then when you're out on the trail and you just feel like you're dragging a little bit, get that boost of energy with that power bar. They're small enough, lightweight enough. Don't get one with a lot of sugars in it. Get something that's going to be nutritious and have a lot of protein in it. Then you also want some sort of emergency shelter. Once again, that garbage bag, you can make an emergency shelter out of that. I teach wilderness survival. I know how to build a shelter out of sticks and leaves that will keep me alive, even on a cold winter day. So I know how to build shelters out of what's around me, but not everyone does. And it would be so much easier if you had one with you. And they do make, I'm not talking about a tent. Okay, you can have a tent if you want. But what I'm talking more about is having, something that's waterproof, whether it's a large plastic bag. They make these space blankets, which are great. These space blankets are lightweight. They also have these foldable sleeping bags. They're just plastic, basically. And they fold up really small, fit in your backpack. I just usually grab a garbage bag because it serves as a cover for my backpack, or I can also use it as an emergency shelter. So I can build a shelter out of it, keeps me warm and dry. And the final thing, and this is especially important during the summer, some sort of sun protection. If you're like me and you spent a lot of time out in the sun when you were young, you are susceptible to skin cancer. I've had a few bouts of it already, and it's not fun. So I am very cautious when I'm outside in the sun. I know I'm taking a trail that's not in the woods. I usually take my hat. I always have a hat that I wear that protects my face and neck, but I also use a safe sunscreen. So carry that with you. So those are the 10 essentials. Other things you might want to have in your backpack, I usually do, is I will have bug spray. Just in case you're going into a wetland area and there's a lot of mosquitoes around, a good bug spray. I try to avoid the DEET ones. I know a lot of people are pushing it right now because there are a lot of ticks this year, supposedly. They're starting up already here in western New York, and you don't want Lyme disease. So, you can spray it on your legs, and DEET is supposed to be one of the best things. But I have found some organic bug sprays that are safer, and they work, in my opinion, they work just as good as the other ones. They keep the bugs away. So those are the essentials that you want in your backpack. Once again, keep it lightweight, but make sure you have enough to keep you safe. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is trail etiquette. Now, you didn't hear him, but I passed like 3 people on the trail already. One was the same person. He was out running, young guy, out running on the trails, but I paused it so that you didn't hear them. He was playing his music, and that's bad trail etiquette. This guy went running by me, and he had his music playing on his phone. I was in the rainforest in Puerto Rico a little while ago, and when I was out there in the rainforest, my wife and I were just taking it all in, absorbing nature, absorbing the woods. We were hiking with the woods. Not in the woods, we were hiking with the woods. And here this group of younger people come walking down the trail, and he's got speakers hanging out of his backpack, and he's got them hooked up to his phone, and they're playing music, and it's like, that was disturbing to me and all the other people around me. Remember, you're sharing the woods with other people too. So be kind to them. The people that passed me, I said hello, said a nice greeting. I mean, it makes their day better as well. So always be polite on the trail. Not everyone has the same experience as you on the trail. Some are out here for different reasons. Some are out here just to get exercise. Some are out here to absorb nature. Some are out here to do podcasts like me, and absorb nature. I'm out here for multi-purpose. But not everyone's out here for the same reason, and remember that. So be respectful of everyone and what they're doing. You see someone drop some trash on the trail, don't be yelling at them. That's not going to teach them not to do it. Go up and explain to them, hey, that trash is destroying our woods. It's making it an eyesore for us, and it's also harming the wildlife. Let's try to keep it nice by picking it up, and if they ignore you, you just pick it up and you head on out. It's not worth it. You take care of it better than them. So always be kind. Now, I'm always asked, who has the right of way on the trails? Okay, if there's 2 hikers, well, if you have the trail that's wide enough, and it's a level trail, then just pass each other, usually on the right. If you have a trail that's going up a hill, the person who is headed uphill has the right of way. The person going downhill yields the right of way to the person going uphill. And that's just the etiquette. So if you see someone coming up the hill and you're going down the hill, you don't want to stop their progress. So I usually find an area that's not a lot of vegetation. I just stand over to the side and I let them pass. So a nice, simple way for you to be kind. Now, horses always have the right of way. So if you see a horse on the trail, maybe you're in a park where horses do. This park, they don't, but I've been in Erie County Forestry in Sardinia, New York, and there are horses on the trail. I've run across them many times. Always yield the right of way to the horse. Okay, they can't get off the trail as easily as you. They're much bigger, so it's harder for the owners to control them. So you just step aside, let them go by. Bikes, they have to yield the right of way to hikers and horses. So the bikers, they have to, get out of the way. Now, someone who's jogging like this guy that passed me twice here, he was going one way once and then he passed me again on his way back out. He is supposed to give me the right of way, which he did on the way in, but the trail was wide enough that we both just kept walking past each other, did our hellos, and so those are the etiquettes for right of way, who has the right of way. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about Leave No Trace. I'm not going to get too much in depth with it because I am going to do an entire episode on Leave No Trace. I am trained in it. I am going to be teaching it and doing some videos on it this summer. But with Leave No Trace, basically leave the woods as you found it. Respect the woods, respect nature. Remember, we're sharing this with everyone, not just other people, but also the animals. So take in what you take out. Pack out your garbage. If you have to use the bathroom, Okay, try to find a public restroom if you can't. If you have to go number 2, make sure you bury it with your toilet paper. If you go number 1 and you use toilet paper if you're a woman, once again, bury the toilet paper. Always go off the trail. Make sure you are away from any water sources. You don't want contaminants going into the water sources. Make sure you clean up after your dog. If you see any garbage along the trail, pick it up, take it out. So it's basically leave no trace. Leave it as you found it, or better. If you are hiking on a trail, make sure you stay in the middle of the trail. Don't go off trail. If you are yielding the weight to someone else, don't go stepping on vegetation. It's very sensitive. Durable surfaces, something like a rock. Step out on a rock. Okay, you're not going to be disturbing anything that way. So leave no trace is big with me when you're out hiking. Skill and ability is another thing I want to talk about. Don't overdo it. You know you can't do hills. You can't do, climbing. Don't do that trail. Do a trail that's easier for you. If you find you're getting tired, you wanted to get to this destination, but you couldn't. That's okay. You can get there another day, another time when you're, feeling a little more up to it. So don't overdo it. Don't force yourself. Always make sure you are able to get out of the woods. Okay. I just had an incident just a couple weeks ago. My wife and I were hiking, and we were doing some orienteering. We were off trail. We were in a county park, and we were finding orienteering markers, and all of a sudden my wife was feeling funny. I don't know what was going on. She just was feeling a little lightheaded. I don't know if she overdid it. I don't know if she didn't have enough to eat that morning. I don't know what was going on, and I went into a little bit of a scare. What we did is we just sat down, we relaxed. I gave her some water. She had a power bar to eat, and we just sat there for a little while. I wanted to go further, but no, we were done. I wanted to find more markers. We were done. Once she was feeling a little better, we just headed out. I wasn't going to take the chance. That's what you got to do. I've had times where I was like that too, where it's like, oh, my ankle is hurting me. I fractured my foot many years ago, and it never truly healed 100%, and every once in a while it does start acting up, and so I will be out hiking for a long time, and I have a brace I put inside my shoe, keeps my foot stiff so it doesn't bend as much. But if I'm going on a long hike with a lot of climbing, a lot of up and down terrain, and that happened not too long ago, and my foot was really hurting me. And it's like, I didn't get to the point I wanted to. Doesn't matter. I knew if I kept going, I was going to be in a lot of pain, not just on the hike, but the rest of the night. So I turned around, figured, I'll go check out that another time. And that's what I did. I just ended up going home. And I just rested my foot the rest of the evening. So know your limits. Don't overdo it. Please, please, please. Know your skill and ability. So hopefully what you get out of this is be prepared. That's the most important thing. Be prepared for your hike. Know what you're getting into. Bring the right equipment with you. Let someone know where you are. Like I said, if you do hike alone, like I do a lot, I'm always preaching to everyone else, don't hike alone. I do it a lot, unfortunately. And I don't know, part of it is because I want to be alone in the woods. But part of it is also, I go hiking during the week when everyone else is working. So I need some more retired friends. If you want to be my retired friend, my hiking buddy, please give me a call. I love to have company, as long as you're not a big talker on the trails. But yeah, feel free to give me a call, drop me an email, text me, DM me, however you want to get in touch with me. If you're one of those people who likes to go with company, my wife, she loves going with me, but she's not always available. Like today, she was working at her shop, so I was just going on a short hike. I let her know where I was, but always let someone know where you are. So I hope you enjoyed learning about safety. Keep these things in mind when you are out on the trail. Be safe out on the trail. Make sure you bring a friend with you next time for the podcast, not just for the hiking, but also for the podcast. Invite more friends to listen to it. And all the information about the podcast is in the show notes, including how you can donate to the podcast. Any extra little tidbits, links that I have will be down in the show notes. And I will also have the links to purchase my nature journals that I wrote. And those are an awesome way to keep track of all your wanderings through nature, and it helps to support the podcast as well. Now, coming out of the woods now, it's starting to come down a little bit harder now that I don't have the protection of the trees. So I'm going to head on to my car, going real slow on this muddy path that I just came out on. So I hope you enjoyed it, and above all, keep exploring the nature around you.
Did you know that plastic is made with oil, a fossil fuel that pollutes the environment? And did you know that only about 15% of all plastic is recycled into new products? Wouldn't it be awesome if we could live our lives without plastic so that we could stop harming the planet? Well, there's a company that wants to help you do just that. Life Without Plastic sells products that will reduce or eliminate your dependence on plastic. They have a large selection from toothbrushes to food storage containers to drinking straws, all plastic free. And it's reasonably priced. So what are you waiting for? Check out all these great plastic-free products and help save the planet. Just click on the link in the show notes to find out more and to start your journey to being plastic-free.